The Aviator E603 stairlift is made up of 4 main components: the carriage, the footrest, the seat, and the rail. Each part plays an important role in ensuring smooth, safe, and reliable operation. Before beginning installation, carefully unpack the shipment and verify that all components are present. Compare the parts against the contents sheet provided in the box to ensure that no items are missing. Inspect the packaging and contents for any visible signs of damage that may have occurred during transit. If you notice any damaged parts, be sure to document them by taking clear photos. This step is essential, as photographic evidence is required when submitting warranty claims. Measure the length of the stairway from the top landing to the floor at the bottom landing. This will determine the total length of the stairlift's rail system. Before cutting the rail to length, double-check all measurements and clearly mark the cut point. Begin by unscrewing and removing the steel rack from the aluminum rail. The steel rack is always positioned on the right side of the rail. Wear proper eye and ear protection before positioning the aluminum rail beneath the blade. Cut the aluminum rail separately from the steel rack. Double-check the measurements of the steel rack before cutting. Place the rail sections end to end, either on a stand or the floor. Insert the splice bars into the rails while they are supported on a stand or laid on the floor. Using an Allen key, loosely tighten the screws on the splice bars. Position 1 splice bar on each side of the top rail. Feed the fish tape into the bottom rail until the looped end emerges from the opposite side. Attach the cable securely to the loop. Ensuring both the positive and negative leads are firmly fastened. Then move to the opposite end and carefully pull the fish tape to guide the cable through the bottom rail. Assemble the charging bases of the bottom rail section. The negative port, black cable, is always installed on the side with the steel rack. Install the positive port, red cable, and tighten the set screws on both sides. Install the limit switch cam on the bottom rail. Measure the distance between the switch cam and the bottom of the rail to determine where the carriage will stop. Once positioned correctly, tighten the set screws. Then, install the mechanical stop on the bottom rail using a bolt, positioning it approximately 1/4 inch from the end of the rail. Next, connect the two negative wires together and the two positive wires together. Then tuck the wiring neatly into the rail cavity. Finally, install the end cover on the bottom of the rail using the two provided screws. Repeat this process for the top rail, ensuring the mechanical stop is installed approximately 1/4 inch from the end of the rail. Slide the T-bolts into the lower slots of the rails for the mounting brackets. Leave them loosely tightened, as you'll need to adjust their position when placing the rails on the stairs. There should be 6 T-bolts on one rail section, 3 on each side. Position the rails on the stairs. Then adjust the mounting brackets in the downward direction and tighten once you have determined what steps the mounting brackets will sit on. Do not over-tighten the T-bolts, as this can cause damage to the track of the mounting brackets. Leave the bottom of the rail about 3/8 inch above the floor. The minimum distance between the wall and the rails is 2 3/8 inches. Align the top rail with the bottom rail. Then, loosen the splice bars and slide them down to the joint where the rails meet, ensuring there are no gaps between the rails. Loosen the screws that hold the steel rack to the rail. Slide all the racks down, so no gaps are between the racks. Check timing between each rack section with a timing block and tighten screws. Lift the carriage and line up the rollers with the rail. Pay attention to the charging pins and limit switches inside the carriage. Then use the remote to drive the carriage down the rail. Begin to prepare the footplate assembly for installation on the carriage. Do this by removing the 4 screws from the front of the footplate assembly and inserting the seat post into the hole for a proper height adjustment. The height adjustment will be determined by the end user's size. Once height is determined, insert the seat post bolt into the corresponding hole and tighten using an adjustable wrench. Install the central spacer plate with the welding side toward the carriage. Assemble the footrest and spacer ring. Make sure the C-ring is not caught between the spacer ring and carriage side plate. Adjust the level and tighten with bolts and washers. Turn off the power and key switch. Remove jumper plug from the carriage footrest cable. For the left-handed type, plug in the L connector of the footrest wire. For the right-handed type, plug in the R connector. Install seat post cover with screws provided. Secure the seat on the seat post. Install the pin and the nylon washer under the seat to secure seat on seat post. Remove the jumper plug from the carriage seat connector. Plug in the seat control cable to the carriage housing. Install the charger bases on the top rail section. The negative charging strips are always installed on the rack side. Connect the 2 negative wires together and the 2 positive wires together. Then tuck the wiring neatly into the rail cavity. Tighten the set screws. Install the mechanical stop on the top rail using a bolt. Install the limit switch cam on the top rail. Attach the end cover on the top of the rail using the 2 provided screws. Test the stairlift to ensure it's operating correctly after installation. Firmly secure all mounting brackets in place by drilling holes in the stairs and installing screws. Sit on the seat and press the rocker switch on the armrest. Check the moving direction of the stairlift. Check that the stairlift stops when it detects an object by placing your foot gently in its path. The stairlift can only move when both armrests and seat are down in the riding position. The limit switch should stop the stairlift when it reaches the top or bottom of the rail. If you need to change the handing, please review the following instructions carefully. To rehand the footrest, start by removing the cover. Loosen 2 nuts and then move the bottom part to the correct side. Reinstall the footrest cover. Switch the handing of the seat by removing the 4 screws from the seat shaft. Remove and install seat level spring opposite the seat shaft. When installing the spring, make sure to lift seat handle. Then, reinstall the seat shaft into the post. To change the handing on the armrest, begin by removing the 4 screws located underneath the armrest with the toggle switch. Carefully lift off the cover, disconnect the toggle switch from its wiring. Remove the screws from the opposite armrest, then swap the top covers. Reconnect the toggle switch, ensuring the connection is secure. Switch the positions of the black and blue wires. Reattach the armrest covers, making sure no wires are pinched or damaged. Secure the covers by tightening all screws. For the final step, rehanding the carriage, begin by removing the 4 screws that secure the top cover. Lift off the top cover. Reroute the footrest wire to the opposite side. Then remove both side covers. Reinstall the side covers on the opposite side. Place the carriage cover back on and secure it. Available in 6 upholstery colors: beige, black, dark brown, gray, light brown, and red. To complement any home, the Aviator E603 straight stairlift is both versatile and easy to operate. Thank you for watching the installation and rehand process.